Yesterday I was looking at a postseason game with a friend of mine, football game. I think it was the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. And I remember saying something, I can't remember the anchor, but some anchor in for Stuart Scott, and he was reporting, replacing Stuart Scott. I guess Stuart Scott was supposed to be on assignment, but he wasn't able to do the assignment. So a friend of mine said, man, I haven't really heard much from Stuart Scott lately. And I had neither. And I have been a little bit concerned about him because, when someone's sick, as we all know, he's been in the past several years actually, battling cancer, apparently beating it, but then it reoccurred. I was a little concerned because I was wondering, is he sicker than we think he is? I hadn't really seen him. I don't watch ESPN like every day, but I had recalled seeing him for some months. That's just me. I hadn't seen him in a while, so I was telling my friend, because he thought that Stuart Scott had totally beaten cancer, and I had told him that it had reoccurred, and that he was fighting again. So you could just understand my complete shock when I found this morning that he had died, because I had just talked about him last night with a buddy of mine. And it's one of those things that you kind of see coming. You hope that it's delayed for as long as possible. But I remember reading about his surgeries and how the cancer was spreading. And he fought a good fight. He fought a tremendous fight against this terrible foe. And I won't just remember Stuart Scott as a sports anchor. He was. There have been black anchors before him. There have been black sports anchors before him too. But he was probably the first guy who seemed as if though he was part of the modern day black culture generation. He was born in 1965, so when he first came upon the scene with ESPN, he was still in his 20s. So he seemed like he was part of, the cool generation. I really remember him doing the home run races back in the mid to late 90s, booyah, with Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, or Barry Bonds hitting home runs. And, he had different catchphrases that became part of the lexicon of sports. Even other sports anchors imitated him on that program. The imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. So it saddened me to learn that he was sick, and I was very relieved when I initially heard that he had beaten cancer, and totally sad that I learned that it occurred, I think, about a year and a half ago. And he was very respected by his peers. I think it's probably unanimous. It's unanimous in that area. I know the tributes are going to flow from ESPN. And while I have my issues with ESPN as a network, Stuart Scott always was a class act. He never seemed as if he was so good at being an anchor that it never seemed like it was a job. It seemed like he was just setting up every day and just talking, like just communicating with people. And I guess that's a gift that some people have and some people just don't have. And Stuart Scott will be missed by everyone, by his ESPN comrades, by the fans who watch, and his influence will live on, and his memory will live on as well. May he rest in peace.